Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dancing Oracle with Najia. I'm a psychic medium. I am an artist and a belly dance teacher on Zoom. But today I'm going to talk a bit about intuition and how intuition works in regards to reading the cards or anything else in life that you need to listen on the inner or pay attention to a feeling inside. So this is based upon a viewer's comment named Bob Price, okay? And this was a video about tarot deep dive into AI and tech that I did just recently. And at Bob Price 6274 writes, great video. Thank goodness your guide said it's okay to read. You really have some interesting videos. And also you have some interesting insights. I like what you said about intuition and knowing which card to pull. That is something that came to me when I was learning, how to read the cards myself. I noticed that there are a lot of readers just pull them in whatever order they come out of the deck. To me, it always felt more accurate to pull the cards by how you felt about them, like you do. Yeah, that is really important because it's all about being psychic and listening to your guides, all right? So he says, so Bob says, thank you for taking a moment out of your walk, because I go walking and videotaping, to give your readings to us. I, for one, really appreciate it. So, yeah, so, excuse me. Bob also reads cards and has a deck that was Bob is an artist. So anyway, I want to talk about intuition and trusting your guides and how the decks are constructed. All right. So when, excuse me, and how things are made, right? So when a deck is constructed, there is let's just say an oracle deck for now, because the oracle deck always has a book. All right. Because oracle decks are not a standard deck. They're creations by each artist and the author, a corresponding author. The artist and the author may actually be the same person, but usually they are separate, right? So when there's an oracle deck, somebody does all the artwork and they're working with the author to create the artwork. And there's a beautiful book that explains the meaning, right? And then they'll tell you within that book to do this type of layout, to do this type of spread, divide the decks up in three, or, count a certain amount of cards. Every book will tell you something different, or there's standard spreads, and they have a very strict method about how to do something, right? Because they're just trying to give you something generic to make it easy, to make it user-friendly, because people like user-friendly. They don't like complex things. Oh my God, I got to listen to my intuition and do this. And maybe what if I screw up? Sorry, I'm so itchy. That's my mom. That's my mom. I've been getting dimes and pennies from the other side a lot lately. And I got the nose itches when I go on here. And those are signs from beyond that someone's trying to communicate with me. So anyway, sorry about that. So when they're creating these books, they want it to be like, okay, you could do this. Step 1, step 2, steps 33, and so on. And you feel like you have to do this method. But in reality, It's all about the message your guides are trying to give you. But that's very vague. Like you don't even have to necessarily, when you're doing a reading for somebody or for yourself, you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the words in the book. I mean, I do that a lot when I'm reading for the channel and not, for the collective and not specifically for someone. I'll do both my own guided imagery with what the author says because I want to acknowledge the author. I appreciate that author. I'm showing the deck that was illustrated for that author, and I'm using their deck for my YouTube video, so I will always read those books. But when I do stuff for other people, and I'm really tuning into someone specific, like, and their guides and their ancestors on the other side, along with communicating with my guides, giving me the messages, it's all about the tuning in. Like in my real life, when I'm reading for people, I may say, oh, I'm going to do a Celtic cross right now. I'm going to do a standard spread. I'm going to do the normal method. But then, and this often happens in my channel when I'm doing tarot, my guides come in and they're like, no, we want you to pull this random card out. Or the guides will say, we want you to pull 3 cards out and blend the meaning together. And they're always right. Like, especially when I'm reading for other people, I'll get uh I'll get a lot of information. And what's really interesting, I'm really glad I listened to my guides and I get the validation later. So I'm pulling out these random cards. And then when I go do my Celtic cross spread, my big spread, right? I I just get the same cards. It's so interesting. I will get there's 78 cards in the tarot deck, and I'll pull the same friggin' cards out in in the key places in the blends, like, but then it comes out in the Celtic cross, it tells the full story, and it's just so interesting that I will pull the same cards. I always feel like, wow, that's validation. It feels really good. And of course, my clients will validate with me. Oh, by the way, I am available for readings. I took a break because of health issues. I'm back. I'm back in action. I opened up my calendar. There's more dates. So check me out. And another thing I wanted to tell you about intuition and how things are formed and how things are said to be a certain way. I'm a dance teacher, right? I teach Middle Eastern dance, which is, it's not meant to be a choreography per se dance. It's really meant to be from spirit, really listening to the music and being in the moment. Yes, there are choreographies that people will do. Mostly the choreographies in Middle Eastern dance are for groups or duets, and there should be a choreography. But when a dancer is dancing solo, traditionally, it's meant to be from God. Even if they think you are a a loose woman, we'll say, in that culture, because you're out dancing in public, you shouldn't be showing yourself dancing. You should be in the home with family, so, but they still, a lot of people in the Middle East will look to that dancer hoping for that inspiration from God. And they really don't want to see choreography. I have sat with my Middle Eastern friends and they'll be like, oh no, she can't dance. She's doing choreography. I'm like, what do you mean? What's wrong with choreography? So as an American, growing up in America and taking various dance disciplines, choreography was important. But as I, have learned the culture, it's very much like reading psychic readings. The way you do dance, the way I approach dance, and the way was taught to approach dance from the Middle East and going to the Middle East for months at a time and immersing myself in the culture and learning dance and doing a lot of, study tour things. I really learned that it's all about creating in the moment. really creating in the moment and being inspired. And it should never look choreographed. So it's the same thing with reading oracle or reading tarot. You have to tune in the moment. It has to be from the divine. If you follow just like, okay, wait a minute, I shuffled this many cards, I divided 3 times, and now I got to pick those piles. Or, oh no, I have to let my client shuffle the cards and put his or her energy in there. You know what? When I did that in the very beginning, when I was doing readings, I let people shuffle their own cards. And the readings were never accurate. Like they were like a little bit accurate. Ah. But then I'd be like, well, this makes no sense. And my guides would say, you shuffle the cards, you tune in, you start laying out when we tell you to start laying them out. Because it's all about the guidance. It's all about the guidance. And it's all about you might go within here and see something or get a flash of what to do, or a picture. You get listening on the inner. I get that a lot. Or you get a feeling right in here or in the gut. You get a feeling like they tap on your gut. They tap on your gut. And sometimes they touch your head and you feel something. And they're like, okay, stop now. We got a message for you. So you have to catch that. Same thing with the dance. You got to feel that inspiration in the moment. You got to listen to that music and then go deep within, and then it comes out of you naturally. It's not premeditated, because it's all about going into another dimension, to a higher dimension, right? You can't bring your 3D mentality to a 4 or 5D experience. You have to rise up to that, and meet that. So how does this apply to normal life for those of you who don't read cards or, oracle, right? Well, you're going to hear the same kind of guidance. You're going to hear the same kind of guidance, like turn down this road. Don't go the way the GPS tells you to go. The guides will say, hey, you're supposed to go this way. And then you find out that you avoided a big accident, My little grandnephew, he's very psychic. He's a medium, and his mom learned to listen to him ever since he was very little. She says, I always listen to him because he's always right. He knows when there's going to be a road blockage or an accident, or we're meant to go a certain way. Yeah, so it's kind of like that. I do it with shopping too, to get the deals, to find what you're looking for at the right price. It's like it's waiting for you. The parking spots, when you really need a parking spot and you have a heavy bag, and you listen to your gut. You listen on the inner, and you just listen, 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 and you ask. You tune in and you ask for that guidance, and then they'll contact you. Now, you may get frustrated in the beginning because you're new to it. It's just like dance. You must practice, practice, practice. You practice. You're not instantly ready for the stage when you dance. It takes years to cultivate the arts. Same thing with being psychic and intuitive, or an artist. I mean, you got to really work your drawings. Like, how many years did I study art and practice art, devote my life to it, give up my whole social life for my art? It takes devotion, but it's worth it. So let me know. Let me know in the comments if this helps you. And sorry about my videos kind of being all over the place. I'm having multiple health issues. I can't record every day. Depends on, I'm not always ready for camera depending on my health issues. And, I can't always speak a lot either because of my heart has issues and I need heart surgery. So, I run out of breath. So please bear with me putting up some encore presentations. Don't complain, you saw the video already. If it says encore presentation, just don't watch it if you don't want to see it again. Like it says encore presentation. Don't say, I already saw this. I can't believe I just you already showed this. Didn't I see this already? Yes, you did see it already. That's why it says encore presentation in the title. You may have seen it. All right, so don't be complaining, all right? I need to take care of my health. All right. Take care, everybody. Let me know if this video helped you. All right, bye.